If you've ever hit rock bottom, felt the sting of defeat and still found the courage to stand tall, you embody true resilience. You don't just endure hardships, you transform because of them. Every setback becomes fuel for a greater comeback. This is a celebration of self-mastery, grit, and unwavering determination. Welcome to a community that believes in rewriting our own stories and rising, no matter what life throws our way. Subscribe to the Sigma Sisterhood channel and join a movement of women who empower, inspire, and uplift each other. Let's rise together. 1. Pain becomes her greatest mentor. For the unstoppable woman, pain isn't just an obstacle, it's a masterclass in self-discovery. Where others might shrink away from hardship, she approaches it with curiosity and courage. Pain, to her, is like a demanding teacher, forcing her to confront her weaknesses and sharpen her strengths. Instead of suppressing her discomfort or pretending it doesn't exist, she leans into it. She asks herself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this challenge? Each wound becomes more than a scar. It's a symbol of a battle fought and a lesson learned. When heartbreak shatters her, she doesn't stay broken. She picks up the pieces and rebuilds with a clearer understanding of who she is and what she needs. When betrayed, she doesn't spiral into bitterness. She develops a deeper understanding of who is worthy of her trust. Every setback sharpens her instincts and deepens her resilience. Pain doesn't intimidate her, it equips her. This ability to transform suffering into strength sets her apart. While many get lost in the question, why me? Logically, she shifts her focus to, what now? She uses the struggle as fuel, propelling herself forward with even more clarity and resolve. Instead of letting pain dominate her, she learns to master it, understanding that the very challenges meant to break her are the ones that refine her. Her journey through pain is one of relentless evolution. She doesn't simply survive difficult times. She thrives because of them. Every tear shed, every moment of doubt, becomes a building block in her fortress of resilience. This mastery over her hardships allows her to face life with courage and conviction. Pain can no longer control her. She's turned it into a source of wisdom and power. Ultimately, she becomes unshakable. Not because she's immune to pain, but because she understands it can't defeat her. Pain, instead of being a roadblock, becomes a compass pointing her toward deeper strength and greater wisdom. She doesn't just endure, she masters, adapts, and grows. In this way, pain transforms her into a woman who is prepared to face any challenge life throws her way, emerging stronger every time. 2. Failure is her secret weapon. Where many people fear failure, the resilient woman sees it as a secret weapon, an ally disguised as a setback. To her, failure isn't a label that defines her, it's a tool that refines her. While some crumble under the weight of mistakes, she dives deep into them, extracting lessons that most people miss. She knows that each failure holds valuable data, insights about what went wrong, what to improve, and how to move forward smarter and stronger. Her perspective is unique. When she stumbles, she doesn't spiral into self-pity or blame. Instead, she examines every aspect of the fall with ruthless honesty. What can I learn from this? Where did I go off track? How can I adapt my approach? These questions are her power tools for personal growth. Failure to her is a form of feedback, not a final verdict. This mindset makes her unstoppable. Every time she falls short, she gains a new edge. Each mistake hones her strategy and deepens her understanding of her journey. She knows that true success isn't built by avoiding mistakes, but by learning from them. Her failures become stepping stones, paving the way for future victories. She doesn't just bounce back, she bounces forward. What truly sets her apart is her patience and persistence. She doesn't expect immediate perfection. She understands that the seeds of success are often planted in the soil of failure. Instead of rushing or getting frustrated, she cultivates these seeds, trusting the process. When others expect her to quit, she surprises them by rising again, more determined than before. Her ability to wield failure as a weapon keeps her moving forward, no matter how many setbacks she faces. She's not afraid to fall because she knows she'll rise stronger. Failure sharpens her instincts, fuels her ambition, and builds her resilience. It's not a weakness, it's an advantage. Every rejection, every misstep, becomes an opportunity to evolve. In a world where many fear the sting of failure, she thrives on it. She uses it to innovate, to grow, and to rewrite her path. For her, failure is never the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a better chapter. 3. She rewrites the narrative. A resilient woman refuses to let life's challenges dictate her story. While many people feel trapped by their circumstances, she takes control of the narrative. She understands that setbacks and disappointments don't define her. How she responds to them does. Instead of accepting a script handed to her by society, circumstances, or others, she picks up the pen and writes her own. She rejects the victim mentality. Playing the victim means giving away her power, and that's something she simply won't do. When life tries to label her as not good enough or defeated, she tears up the script and writes a new one. One where she rises stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. When rejection or failure threatens to stamp her with a negative identity, she reframes it. To her, rejection isn't a closed door. It's a redirection to something better. A setback isn't a sign of weakness. It's a challenge waiting to be conquered. This ability to reframe adversity gives her a distinct edge. While others see an obstacle as the end, she sees it as a turning point. Her life becomes a powerful story of transformation and triumph. Instead of dwelling on the unfairness of her experiences, she focuses on creating a future she's proud of. Every mistake, every heartbreak, and every disappointment becomes part of a greater journey. She's not defined by her falls, she's defined by her comebacks. Her strength lies in her ability to adapt and evolve. She doesn't cling to old versions of herself or outdated expectations. When the world tries to box her in, she breaks free, constantly rewriting the rules and reshaping her destiny. She proves that her story is hers alone to tell. This mindset makes her unstoppable. While others get stuck in old narratives, she's already writing the next chapter. She embraces her power to create, to change, and to grow. By refusing to let anyone else define her, she takes full ownership of her life and her journey. And in doing so, she inspires others to pick up their pens and rewrite their own stories. 4. She values solitude as her sanctuary. For the resilient woman, solitude isn't loneliness. It's her sanctuary. While many people fear being alone, she sees it as an opportunity to reconnect with her thoughts, aspirations, and inner strength. In the quiet moments away from the noise and expectations of the world, she discovers clarity, peace, and a deeper sense of self. In solitude, she finds the space to reflect on her goals and the direction of her life. It's in these moments that her most profound insights emerge. She listens to her intuition, free from external influences, and uncovers answers that might have eluded her in the chaos of daily life. Solitude becomes her workshop for personal growth, where she hones her vision and sharpens her focus. Solitude also fuels her creativity. When she steps back from the constant chatter and demands of others, her mind has room to explore new ideas and possibilities. This is where inspiration strikes, where she crafts innovative solutions and fresh perspectives. By giving herself the gift of undisturbed time, she nurtures the spark that fuels her ambition and artistry. But solitude isn't just about productivity. It's about restoration. The resilient woman understands that to be strong for others, she first needs to be strong for herself. Alone time is her chance to recharge, to fill her own cup so she can pour into others. Whether through meditation, journaling, nature walks, or simply sitting in silence, she finds peace and strength in these quiet rituals. She doesn't fear solitude, she embraces it. In this sacred space, she becomes more resilient, more focused, and more aligned with her purpose. Solitude isn't a sign of weakness or isolation. It's a deliberate act of self-care and empowerment. 5. Becoming harder to break. Every time a Sigma female faces a setback, She doesn't just rise, she builds herself back stronger like a warrior forging her armor. The key difference here is that while many crumble under the weight of life's challenges, the Sigma female doesn't let the blows define her. Each hardship adds a layer of strength to her emotional resilience. But this isn't about becoming cold or detached. It's about gaining clarity. She learns to recognize the difference between what's worth her energy and what's simply noise. The tough lessons from betrayal, disappointment, or failure are not forgotten. Instead, they shape her understanding of what truly matters. She's not impenetrable because she ignores her emotions, but because she has learned how to manage them. She doesn't waste time over-explaining herself to others. Her actions speak volumes, and the strength in her silence is a testimony to the battles she's already won. This clarity allows her to protect her peace like a fortress, selectively letting in only what nurtures her growth. Over time, as she faces new challenges, the cracks that might have shattered others simply give way to deeper wisdom. Her emotional resilience makes her unshakable, not because she's unaffected by the world, but because she's learned how to rise every time, with even more determination and power. Sixth, self-competition. For a Sigma female, the only person she needs to compete with is herself. She doesn't look at the achievements of others and feel insecure. Instead, she focuses solely on how she can be better today than she was yesterday. The endless comparison game? It's not for her. She understands that real growth comes from pushing herself past her own limits, not measuring up to someone else's success. Every failure becomes an opportunity to recalibrate her strategy. She doesn't dwell on mistakes or let them drag her down. She uses them as stepping stones. Her only focus is improving herself and her life. She checks in with herself, asks the hard questions, and digs deep to identify areas where she can grow. This internal drive to improve is her greatest weapon. While others waste time wondering how they measure up, she's already moving forward, learning, evolving, and creating her own path. She understands that the only real challenge is the battle against her own doubts, fears, and past mistakes. Each day is a chance to do better, and each victory, no matter how small, adds to her growth. 7. Rejection fuels her innovation. To the Sigma female, rejection isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. When a door closes, she doesn't waste energy trying to reopen it. Instead, she shifts her focus completely, grabs her tools, and builds a new door. Rejection is a sign to think outside the box, to innovate, to explore opportunities that others might overlook. It's not a defeat, but a redirection that sparks creativity. When the world tells her no, she sees it as an invitation to do something new, to break free from the confines of traditional expectations. Rejection sharpens her instincts, and instead of taking it personally, she views it as a challenge to create something better. She's not content with conventional paths. She's out there forging her own way, one that others may one day follow. Rather than letting rejection limit her vision, it expands it. The more she's told no, the more determined she becomes to prove that she can carve her own space in the world. This ability to innovate in the face of adversity is what makes her unstoppable. Rejection becomes the fuel for her greatest breakthroughs, propelling her toward even more remarkable achievements. 8. Celebrator of other women. A Sigma female understands that there's enough room for every woman to rise. She doesn't see the success of others as a threat, but as proof that greatness is within reach for anyone who is willing to fight for it. When another woman succeeds, she doesn't feel envious. She feels inspired. She is the one clapping the loudest at someone else's victory, not because she seeks recognition, but because she genuinely believes in the power of women supporting one another. Her strength grows not only from her own triumphs, but also from lifting other women up. She understands that when one woman rises, it opens the door for others to do the same. Empowerment to her isn't a competition. It's a collective force that makes everyone stronger. She doesn't engage in petty gossip or rivalry because she knows that those things only diminish the power of women. Instead, she creates a network of like-minded women who all share the same goal: to rise together. She knows that there is strength in sisterhood, and by celebrating others' successes, she adds to her own. This collaborative spirit amplifies her own power and helps create a world where every woman can thrive. 9. Complicated forgiveness. Forgiveness is a journey, not a destination, for a Sigma female. While forgiving others who have wronged her is difficult, the hardest part is forgiving herself. When she falls, whether because of her own mistakes or the actions of others, she feels the weight of it deeply. But she understands that holding on to guilt only drags her down. The real challenge is learning to let go and accept that everyone, herself included, makes mistakes. She understands that forgiveness isn't about forgetting or excusing the wrongs done to her. It's about releasing the emotional weight that keeps her stuck. She knows that holding on to self-blame only prevents her from moving forward. Once she lets go of the past, she makes space for new growth, and this act of self-compassion is what allows her to rise again, stronger than before. Her ability to forgive herself doesn't mean she's complacent or ignoring her mistakes. It means she's learning from them. Forgiving herself is a way to free her spirit so she can continue her journey with more wisdom, grace, and an open heart. 10th. Unapologetic selfishness. A Sigma female knows that she has to put herself first to be the best version of herself. She doesn't fall into the trap of sacrificing her own well-being for the sake of others. While the world may try to paint her as selfish for prioritizing her own needs, she understands that true self-care is a necessity, not a luxury. She knows that if she doesn't protect her own energy, she'll have nothing left to give. Her selfishness isn't about neglecting others, but about creating a strong foundation for herself. She understands that to continue rising, she has to nurture her own soul, set boundaries, and say no when necessary. This doesn't make her any less caring or giving. It makes her more effective, more capable of supporting others in the long run. She isn't afraid to disappoint others or to go against societal expectations. Her growth is her responsibility, and she takes that seriously. By putting herself first, she ensures that she has the strength to keep moving forward and to help others do the same when the time comes. Unapologetically prioritizing herself is what makes her unstoppable. In conclusion, the Sigma female embodies a unique blend of strength, resilience, and self-awareness that sets her apart from the conventional societal expectations. She doesn't seek validation from others, choosing instead to forge her own path, driven by an unyielding internal compass. Her journey is defined by a relentless commitment to self-growth, constantly evolving and embracing challenges as opportunities for innovation and personal development. Through her emotional resilience, she becomes unshakable, learning to rise stronger from every setback. Her competitive spirit is not rooted in comparison to others, but in her drive to outdo herself each day. She thrives on rejection, using it as a catalyst for creative breakthroughs, rather than seeing it as a limitation. The Sigma female is also a powerful advocate for sisterhood, celebrating the success of others and understanding the strength that comes from empowering women collectively. Her ability to forgive, while complex and deeply personal, allows her to release the past and move forward with renewed clarity and strength. And while her unapologetic self-prioritization may seem like selfishness to some, it is, in fact, an essential part of her personal power. By protecting her energy and setting boundaries, she ensures that she has the capacity to continue growing, helping others, and leading the way. Ultimately, the Sigma female is an unstoppable force, driven by her own inner strength and vision. She is a woman who embraces her individuality, creates her own success, and inspires others to do the same. She doesn't wait for permission to succeed or to be herself. She simply rises, unrelenting, with grace and power,